This is your daily stimulus check update as of Sunday, November 22nd. I hope all of you are having a very nice day, enjoying your weekend, and of course, staying very safe during this time. Let's get right into it, but hey, my name is Matt. Welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for being here and for your support. I truly appreciate it. Please be sure you're subscribed by hitting that button down below. Thank you so much for doing that. I really, truly do appreciate it. I'm back every single day. But let's get right into this and talk about the latest updates on stimulus checks, the negotiations, everything else that's going on in this world and crazy time right now. So Joe Biden is meeting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to discuss stimulus negotiations and how they can approach Mitch McConnell with their stimulus priorities. At this time, Joe Biden has limited authority regarding stimulus, but throughout the negotiation process, he actually can be there as an advisor for Nancy and Chuck as they meet with the Republicans to work their way through the next stimulus proposal and package. At the same time, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, has agreed to return nearly $455 billion of unused money from the CARES Act. The CARES Act is that stimulus package that was passed way back in March, over $2 trillion. Well, within that, there's nearly $455 billion of unused funds that Jerome Powell and the Fed are holding on to right now. However, this is unused money, and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin reached out to Jerome Powell a couple days ago and sent him a letter and said, hey, yo, Joe, or Jerome, I should say, yo, Jerome, send me that money back, $455 billion, send it back to me. And Jerome Powell did not like that idea. He actually wrote back in a little bit of a controversial letter to Steve Mnuchin, but either way, at the end of the day, he agreed to send that back. So, at the end of the year, when these programs are expiring, Jerome Powell is going to be sending back this $455 billion to Steve Mnuchin and the Treasury. Now, this is actually really good. A lot of people could look at this and think, oh gosh, they're expiring these programs, that's really bad. No. It's actually a good thing. The reason I say this, when it comes to stimulus and spending, this is actually good stuff. I talked about this just the other day, but I'm going to hit on it really quick once again because this is actually important. Remember, one of the major sticking points that we have with this stimulus package and the negotiations between the parties is some Republicans in the Senate don't want to support additional spending. Well, what is that $455 billion? In the eyes of Congress, because it was in the CARES Act, that initial stimulus package over $2 trillion back in March, it was included in there. The $455 billion. It was included in there. They sent it out. They allocated it. It was not spent. So that means in the eyes of Congress, it technically is already spent, even though it technically has not been spent. But in the eyes of Congress and the government, it has been spent because it's already been allocated and was sent out. However, now that they have this money and Jerome Powell at the Fed is returning it back to the Treasury at the end of the year in a matter of like 5.5, 6 weeks from now, the Treasury will have all that money back. So, for all the people who are concerned about new spending, when they work up this next stimulus package, they can, whatever price tag they come up with it. Let's say Republicans and Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows and Mitch McConnell, they craft up, let's just say, a $600 billion bill. I'm just making up a number. Let's just say it's $600 billion. Well, they could come in and say, let's direct $600 billion of new spending, and then on top of that, let's plop this $455 billion of redirected money right on top. That puts us a little over $1 trillion, and we only needed to spend $600 billion to get it. Do you get what I'm saying? So what they can do is they can take this $455 billion, they can redirect it, and add it on top of a stimulus package. So, in the eyes of Republicans and some of the people who are opposing additional spending, this is actually great because they can just take this $455 billion, plop it right on top as it's just redirected money rather than spending new money. And it could bring a lot more people on board because, like I've been saying, and we've been talking about this for a couple months now, there are some people opposing these massive stimulus packages because they're concerned about running up the debt and all this new spending. So we have nearly $500 billion that we could just add right on top that is technically, like I've been saying, already spent in the eyes of the government, which technically hasn't been spent, if all that makes sense. So it's actually really good. So he'll be sending that money back. Maybe, just maybe, they'll send it to the wrong bank account and send it to one of us. Wouldn't that be pretty dang sweet? That'd be sweet. I'll, see what we can do. But no, don't count on that. I'm just kidding. But anyway, like I said, actually, Mitch McConnell, which is actually really interesting about this, Mitch McConnell actually was out and he proposed that they take that $455 billion and redirect it for the next stimulus package. So that would actually be really good. And I mean, I think a lot of people are eyeing up this $455 billion, and everybody has their eyes on it. I do too. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty sweet. I think all of us would be living a pretty sweet life. All of you that are here on the channel supporting me and all of this, I think all of us would have a pretty dang fun time together. I can pretty much ensure that. We would, what should we do with that? I mean, should we go to an island, like disappear for a while and just like have a really fun time? I don't know. Either way, that'd be pretty cool and be fun to think about anyway. So at the same time, Steve Mnuchin, Mitch McConnell, and Mark Meadows are working together to craft up their next stimulus proposal. As I talked about, these guys are going to be writing up a new proposal. Who knows what it's going to include? Who knows what the price tag is going to be? But we'll have to watch that, and we're anticipating it's going to be coming relatively soon. So we'll be watching it. At the same time, I think a lot of us are looking at this just thinking, you guys, why don't you just take the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal that was released a couple months ago? When so many of us saw that proposal, we thought, this is perfect. There's no way that both sides are not going to come together and take it. I mean, it literally had all the right numbers, like the sweet spot of everything. So I think a lot of us were really confused when both sides kind of rejected it. So it just didn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. So we could have had that proposal. I still feel like they should still take it because it was really perfect in so many different ways. However, at the same time, Nancy Pelosi, unfortunately, is still banging the drums saying it's all or nothing with my HEROES Act. However, she has been the one that has been calling on Republicans to come back to the table for negotiations. So hopefully she will start to compromise a little bit when they start negotiating again, because literally time is running out. We can't be doing this all or nothing business anymore. It's not down to that. We need to think of the people during this time. At the same time, we are rapidly approaching the December 11th deadline for the next government shutdown if they don't pass additional government spending. If they go into a government shutdown, that would put that would put over 1 million people on the government payroll unemployed. Another 1 million people we could add to the unemployment line as they would be drawing on benefits if the government goes into a shutdown. So we can continue watching that as that is approaching rapidly. Let's talk about COVID for a minute. We approached and surpassed 12 million cases here in the United States. So it only took us less than a week to go from 11 million to 12 million. So that's crazy. That's crazy fast. That's over 1 million cases in less than a week. So now we're over 12 million. At this time, we continue to make new records on a daily basis of new cases. We're rapidly approaching 200,000 a day. This is, like I'm saying, every single day we're approaching and exceeding the prior records of new cases. Now, remember, I've been saying this. These are not new records that we should be proud of. This is, most of the time we're pretty proud of new records, right? But this is not a new record that anybody should be proud of. At the same time, yesterday, over 83,000 people were hospitalized. Just, I don't know, what was it, maybe a week ago? I don't even think it was a week ago. I told you the hospitalization number, and we were at 72,000. So we've added 11,000 people onto that number. And I think it's been less than a week the last time I said that number. So yeah, as of yesterday, according to Johns Hopkins, over 83,000 people were hospitalized. Well, at what point are we going to hit full capacity and literally not have any more space? So with that being said, just be aware, there's probably going to be more restrictions, lockdowns, stay-at-home advisories coming. Just my anticipation based on how the trajectory of this whole thing is going, especially with this weekend and this week coming with Thanksgiving and the holidays and everything. People are going to want to get together, even though the directors and the governors and the officials in our states are saying, hey, stay home, don't get together. Let's be real. People are still going to get together. So either way, protect yourself, be safe. I hope you are having a nice week, a nice weekend. And, you can always see your family virtually if, things don't work out and you can't see them in person, you you can always do it virtually. So either way, stay safe, everybody. I will continue to keep you updated on a daily basis with everything going on. Enjoy your afternoon, your day, and I'll catch you again tomorrow.